Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for watching today. So last night we actually got to see an early screening of Thor Love and Thunder. The latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is releasing this weekend. Many of you are going to be able to see it tonight and will officially release on Friday, July 8th. We were super excited to be able to see this film here. It's definitely been on the top of our list for quite a while since it was announced back in 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. We were so stoked about it, and so now getting able to actually see it come to the big screen after multiple delays because of the whole COVID pandemic. Now we're able to see Thor return to the big screen along with some of our favorites like the Guardians and also Jane Foster as the mighty Thor, Gore, Valkyrie, and everybody else among that team. And so it was really awesome being able to go into this movie with that amount of hype and somebody that we have been familiar with for a while, because a lot of these previous movies outside of Doctor Strange, it's been a lot of characters that are brand new, especially with some of the shows. You know, with Moon Knight and Miss Marvel, it's a lot of kind of newer stories, newer characters. But being able to go back to one of the OG Avengers and seeing their story continue in a new way was really, really exciting. So this was definitely one of our most anticipated movies going into this year. So what I want to do with this video is give a little non-spoiler review of Thor Love and Thunder. And then I also have an awesome surprise for a lot of you guys who are collectors such as myself. I have the coolest thing that I was able to pick up from AMC, and I think some of you guys might already know what I'm talking about. Now, before we get into talking about this movie, if you guys can just go down below, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button, helps out a lot. Also leave a like on this video as well. And if you do subscribe to the channel, of course, hit that bell to be notified whenever we have new videos drop. So I'll talk about my thoughts on the movie here in a second, but I just wanted to show off this thing that we just picked up. So a lot of times for big movies, merchandise is everywhere, and it even sometimes comes to the movie theater where you'll either see little like exclusive merchandise in certain movie theaters and including different things like cups and popcorn buckets and more. Well, there's been a super anticipated popcorn bucket coming to AMC exclusively for Thor Love and Thunder. And guys, that is what is inside this box right here. I am so excited we were able to get this. There was one for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that was really cool. I will flash a photo of that one up on the screen. That looks sick, but we never were able to find it at any of our theaters nearby. No one we know was able to get one, but we actually got super lucky with being able to get this popcorn bucket. So of course we saw the movie last night on Wednesday, and we are still planning on going to see it again tonight. So our plan for this popcorn bucket was to hopefully get it sometime tonight. We're going to show up early to the theater and hope that they still have them in stock. But what happened as of like about 30 minutes ago, as of this recording, I saw that they actually dropped the popcorn bucket online, available for pre-order on AMC's website. So you can actually order it off their website, but it was going to be shipped and arrive sometime in the fall. So I thought that was a little odd. So I decided, hey, why don't I actually go to the theater and see if they have any of the popcorn buckets, and if they don't, find out when they might be getting them. So I just drove a couple minutes up the road. I live right down the street from the movie theater, and I walked in and boom, they had them right there. So they have this popcorn bucket sitting in here. Inside of this white box is how they are selling it. Now it is a little bit more expensive at $40. However, I definitely think it's worth it once you see how cool this thing is. So on the front of this white box, it does say Thor Love and Thunder, AMC, and Marvel. So you have the Thor Love and Thunder logo right there. Now let's go to open this up. I have not opened this up yet. I've only seen photos of other people posting this. So this is gonna be my first time seeing it in person too. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. So it looks like first you have to take out kind of like the stick for the hammer. And then, boom, look at this thing. This is Mjlonir right here, reassembled Mjlonir. And let's get this out of the plastic. And man, this looks so cool. So it looks like you have to push this in. It did take a little bit for me to get in, but now look at that. You have Mjlonir, I am worthy of it. And then you just open it up like this, and you can put your popcorn right inside. I am definitely going to be using this tonight when we go see the movie again, and you can get all of your popcorn in there. That is so sick. Check this thing out, guys. check that out. You have all of Mjlonir kind of reassembled there, just like you've seen in the movie with the trailers and everything. So that's not a spoiler to say that Jane gets Mjlonir, but really, really cool how that looks. And it looks like it's on top of like some like gravel or something like that, some sand. And then on the bottom, it does have the AMC and Thor Love and Thunder logo. So man, this thing is so cool. Can't wait to break this out tonight. But I was just so excited to be able to show this off to you guys. But as much as this is the main feature of this video, I guess, I do also want to talk about my thoughts on the movie a little bit as well. So Thor Love and Thunder, the latest addition to the Thor franchise, and also, of course, the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe, this definitely is a action-packed, humorous movie with definitely lots of heart too. You know, a lot of those things that Taika Waititi brings to his films, every single one, you get in this. So if you enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, I definitely think you are going to enjoy Thor Love and Thunder. Again, that heart, that kind of lighthearted humor while still having some stakes in there. There is all of the pieces to make this a really good and enjoyable movie. And really what makes it work are the characters and the relationship between these characters. So we have Chris Hemsworth's Thor Return, and again, it's just so great being able to see him back as Thor. The joy that he has, that he brings playing this character, is unlike any other character that we have in the MCU. So he is really, really cool in this movie, and he has a lot of great moments and a lot of awesome action that we see as well. We have Taika Waititi as Gore coming back as Thor's best friend and sidekick. He is hilarious and plays a great role in this movie too. We have King Valkyrie, who now she is king of Asgard. We saw a little bit of that in Avengers Endgame, of her kind of looking over the new Asgard village. And so we actually get to see a little bit more about what new Asgard looks like in today's age in the cinematic universe. So that was pretty cool to see. And then we also get the return of Dr. Jane Foster, who is now back wielding Mjlonir as the mighty Thor. And I think just the dynamic between those sort of main characters, which is really great, and that's really what drove the movie, especially Thor and Jane's relationship, their history that they had leading up to this moment, and now what they are both going through in this movie. And I thought it was nice to have a little bit more kind of deeper tones about what they're both going through, how people are kind of struggling in their own life with their own personal issues, trying to find their way, while also trying to just search for that love, search for that hope. So I thought it was actually a really nice sentiment and message in this film, and Taika Waititi, of course, is always going to bring those great messages and allow you to see that in an interesting and really entertaining way. However, this movie is not perfect. Some of the things I think a lot of people were concerned about coming into it definitely rings true in this film, especially when it comes to the humor, because although Taika Waititi is a master at filmmaking, he is a very, very funny guy. Some of the jokes in this film don't quite land. And honestly, the humor does become distracting at times, because a lot of times they do focus on trying to make the next joke happen rather than focus on the stakes of that moment. So it does get distracting at times. It is still a really funny movie, but there are a lot of times in this film that I would kind of like look to Michaela and we looked at each other like, why did that joke have to be there at that time? Now, the addition to this film that I think a lot of people were buzzing about was Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher. And he was coming back as a villain after years of him saying he was not going to be in a comic book movie. He has now come into this comic book movie and joined the MCU. And I thought it was a really great role for him to take up, because it is a little bit meatier. It's not necessarily just the I'm a bad guy or mustache twirling guy, you know, or just the normal I'm a misunderstood villain. There was a lot more layers to him in this film, a lot more connections to why he had the motivations that he did, which I think really did play well to that character. And his performance was awesome. It was really creepy, really eerie. I thought he brought a little bit more gravitas where we were able to really understand that character and also be afraid, because he had some really interesting powers in this film that it really gave a challenge to our heroes to how they were going to overcome this. But I think the way his story kind of worked within Thor's story and how they intercepted, I think worked really well, and just overall all the themes kind of work together between the different characters. And like I said, this movie definitely has a lot of humor, and a lot of it does hit, but like I said, some of it doesn't quite hit. And some of the things in this movie were just straight out goofy. right? There were some parts of it where there was this one battle more towards the end that was just straight up goofy. Kind of in the beginning of the film, there was a battle that kind of was goofy too. It was still fun. It was still a lot of great colors and action and everything, but it just came off a little goofy. And there were a couple characters that they had introduced in this film too that was just a little bit weird. So, you know, there are parts of it that didn't quite hit, but overall that did not take away from the really strong parts of it, which was the relationships between the characters, the journey that they had gone on, the villain in this movie. So there were a lot of great things that were going for this movie, but there are just a number of things that kind of detract from it that keep it from being a top tier MCU movie. And as far as the pacing goes, the first act of this thing is so quick. They jam so much information. It establishes where Thor is, where Jane is, where Valkyrie is, where Gore is, all in the first like 30 minutes of the movie. It's just, there's a lot of information and a lot of things happening. But as you get into the second act and the third act, it starts to find its pace and starts to slow down a little bit. And I thought the third act of this film was excellent. Really, really good. Everything with the culmination of the characters, the action, I thought got to be really, really good for the most part, outside of the one battle at the end I mentioned. It was definitely a really, really strong closing act, which made me feel a lot better about my enjoyment of this movie. And I do want this to be a non-spoiler review, and I don't want to give away too much, but guys, make sure you stay for the post-credit scenes. So there's 2 post-credit scenes, and one of them literally made my jaw drop to the floor, and my jaw got stuck because of how excited I got and how surprised I was from this post-credit scene. So that one's the mid-credit scene, and then there's another post-credit scene which also has another nice surprise. So definitely make sure you stay after this movie because you will be rewarded. So overall, Thor Love and Thunder, really, really good movie. I definitely enjoyed it. I would still say myself personally, I would put Thor Ragnarok above it. I would kind of say that Thor Love and Thunder is kind of in the middle as far as the ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I haven't gone in to re-rank everything yet, but I would still say that it's going to be somewhere around the halfway mark, maybe even in the top half. I'll have to go through that and see what my actual rankings end up being. But it's definitely still a really good movie, and I think a lot of people are really going to love this. It's still fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's not like it has bad reviews like Eternals did, which I definitely think this is better than Eternals, but I still thought Eternals was a really good movie. So if you guys did like Thor Ragnarok, again, you're still definitely going to really enjoy this movie. So that's my thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder, the latest edition in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I am definitely most excited about being able to get this popcorn bucket added to our collection. Because, man, again, check this out. This is so cool. This is so sick. And I know when I normally do these movie reviews, I do have Funko Pops to go along with it since we are mostly a Funko Pop channel. However, I've not been able to get my hands on a lot of the pops for Thor Love and Thunder, including the Thor and Mighty Thor pops. So I wanted to try to do another hunt, possibly sometime this weekend, to try to see if I can find the rest of those Thor Love and Thunder pops. And if I'm able to, then I can kind of do a full set unboxing for you guys, or as much as I can grab. But I definitely did want to show off this popcorn bucket because I was so excited to get it. And I definitely want to just give you my thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder as a whole. I do want to hear your guys' thoughts on, one, this popcorn bucket. What do you think? Are you guys going to try to get your hands on this at AMC this weekend? Hopefully you are able to get it. Hopefully you are worthy to pick up this popcorn bucket. And let me know if you do plan on seeing Thor Love and Thunder. Have you already seen it? What'd you think of it? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And of course, if you guys can, if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and also hit that bell to be notified whenever we have new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching today. And as always, we'll see you again real soon.